What's going on, guys? Adam again, back with Atomic Garage. And yes, your eyes weren't fooling you. That was real time, me pulling off this intake for the 114th time. I'm just playing. But anyway, today, guys, we're going to be messing with the fuel injectors and we're going to be pulling them back off. And I know what you're saying. You're saying you just replaced those lines a few videos ago. True, but we're going to change the injectors anyway. Coming up in this video. So there it is, guys. You've seen it. I've seen it. There is the idle control valve right there. Those are those lines for the air injection and all that stuff. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be loosening these two bolts here and here. And we're going to pull this injector rail off. We're going to pull off this vacuum tree as well. We're going to be pulling all these out and changing the injectors over. And hopefully the forms didn't steer me wrong. Hopefully. All right, guys, so here are the injectors and they are out. That's how they look there. For Pinnacle, but they're a lot smaller. They don't give as good atomization or fuel spray. So we're going to take these out and we're going to clean down here up a little bit as well, as you can see. And then we'll put the new injectors in and hopefully everything works and goes good. So guys, these are the injectors side by side, and you can immediately tell two things. The first thing is don't use rubber grease because it doesn't break down at all, which I thought it would break down, but it doesn't. Even though it didn't get into the path of the actual nozzle, still you don't want that to be all over because it's not going to break down. Second thing I noticed is the difference between the two. And I'm not talking about width-wise, I am talking about one length, because the length of these two are, one's longer, the OEM one is longer, and this Ford one is shorter. Not only that, when you look a little further, you see a size difference as well. One's wider, the OEM one is wider, and the Ford one is not. So that poses a problem, but I've already seen the solution. These holes are too big for the Ford injectors. So what I will be doing is putting in a washer, not this one in particular, but I'd be putting a washer in that will space it out and it will sit directly on the gasket, and then that should take care of it. So guys, this is what it would look like roughly, if you can see, with the injector on the fuel rail. Just imagine 3 more there, and it gets a little funky right down here, as you can see, but I'm going to work that out with some kind of adapter or washer or something of that sort. But unfortunately right now the weather is not going to allow me to, because it's about to start coming down pretty good. So I'll pick this up on another day. Well, all right, guys, we are back, and it's been several days later. It has been raining just about non-stop, so now it's only cold, so we can deal with just the cold. But anyway, let me show you exactly what the plan is, and let's get to it, because there's not a lot of sunlight left. So if you look at it, this is what it would look like, just how it is, and that's clearly not going to work. So the plan is to go ahead and use a washer, and to use a washer along with a rubber grommet piece, which is going to serve as an O-ring, which is one solid O-ring, which I got the kit from Harbor Freight, and we'll put both of those on and let's see if that'll work. Basically, this is what we're trying to accomplish. Now, when you look at this side, the washer is a little bit bigger, but I've got a little bit of RTV, so we can at least just secure this solid rubber washer onto it, and with enough force, this washer is going to squish down some, and it should give a tight seal. And I may even do a slight little RTV on this outer edge here when it sits down on top of the hole for the injectors. So let's see if that works. just on top of the intake. This is not the final form clearly because there's a lot of dirt there and I need to pull off that intake once again. But for right now, we're just trying different things out. And what I'm gonna do is put a little bit more form in place gasket right there. Oop, can't find it, right there. Right on the edge, just to seal that in a little bit. Then we'll put the washer down. Then we can set the intake on top as well. So let's keep going. See, that may work. I'm gonna give it a few minutes before I try to start it. But like, guys, let me tell you, there's a lot of anxiety when you're doing certain things, and working with, I call it fippage, silicone gasket. I call it fippage. Dealing with that, you only got a certain amount of time before stuff starts to harden up. And though, yeah, you can clean everything back off, but it's a pain, it's aggravating. And of course, right when I get to the nitty gritty, the most important part of this whole deal, phone starts going off, this, that, and the other. But we're persisting and we're gonna keep fighting so we can put this thing back together and see what happens. So the next step, obviously, is gonna be to reconnect fuel lines, make sure everything's tight and secure, put the intake back on, block off part of this ICV, and we'll keep moving from there. But you guys seen this part before, so we'll fast forward on through. Well, all right, guys, we've got everything back together again. I think I got all the hoses and everything connected and tightened down and closed off that needs to be. So now it's time to start it. Now, I know the car is going to be a little hard to start for two reasons. One, there's no fuel inside of the rail at all, none. And also two, I don't know for 100% fact or not, but my ICV idle control valve could be bad, could be not. I don't know for sure. I cleaned it, so we're gonna see how it idles. It may idle up and down and all over the place. So let's turn the key, see what happens. Need to get the keys out the house. Let's go. All right, guys, so I think you guys have seen this moment before where I tried to start the car, and I hope it starts, but I don't know. We're going to make sure it's out of gear first, and we're going to try and crank it. We're going to prime it up a little bit first, then we'll try and crank it, no fuel. And once we get it running, we'll get out, take a look at it. So let's see what happens. So when I cranked it up, I was happy that it cranked, and then just give the stupid award to me because I thought I connected everything. I swore I did, but the disconnect everything fairy came by and disconnect one of these lines. So let me show you. I already know which one it is. Can you spot the problem? Look at that. That's exactly what it is. Now, as soon as I put that hose, which is for the ICV, back on, we can let it run again and see if it is leaking any. We'll see. All right. We're trying this again now. Again. Because, yes, that in the idle control valve, that little hose goes up into the upper intake. That was off. And also, my MAV sensor was also disconnected. So I am definitely an idiot. I'm just so hyped and so ready to get this started. So we're going to try and crank it again and see what happens. Well, all right, guys, that's going to be it for me today. I am sitting in the car because it's now or never. I've checked it over. Nothing seems to be leaking right now. So the best thing to do is to skin that smoke wagon and see what happens. So come back next week to find out if I actually burn this car to the ground from a massive fuel leak that I neglected to see, or if it actually runs, and if it runs good. I gotta go right now. So make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and also hit that bell icon because YouTube does funny, weird things and they don't show when I put out videos. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Man, I swear this thing feels like it pulls harder. I might be crazy though.